Now, I've always said with
Yeah.
sales, like I look at it as five key steps that trainers need to be aware of, or anyone needs to be aware of when it comes to selling themselves. The first step to that is basically the pre-sale. Now, the
Yes.
pre-sale is basically when your potential client is looking at you from afar and has not even spoken to you, right?
Yeah.
Or they're following you on social media. They might not have even liked your post, but they're
Yeah.
sitting there, they're observing you,
You know
right?
what? It's judging a book by its cover. Unfortunately, people do that. People will judge based off of that first look, whether it's
Yeah.
of your social media page, the first time they meet you. It's that first sense of judgment of them trying to analyze who you are, what you do, and everything like that.
Mm.
That's just how it is. And you
And,
have to
and
really nail it on the head.
yeah, and I mean, in many respects, there is actually a step zero before that. And step zero is actually being an expert at what you providing, being professional, um, radiating positivity, radiating, a strong energy of, empowering and helping people. That's almost like water, right? But, the
Yeah.
pre-sale is pretty much literally everything before you even speak to them,
Yeah.
right? And so a lot of not just trainers but people in general, don't realize that how they act on a day-to-day basis can either turn on or turn off leads,
Yeah. I agree with
right?
that.
So, I give you an example. Like recently, for anyone following my social and seeing the new business that I'm starting up, I've been putting out a lot of content, right?
Yes, it's been so great to see your name pop up on my feed more often now.
Like,
It's epic.
I'm putting out like 10, 15, sometimes 20 videos a day. Not
I
not
love it.
OCD or anything, but one thing I've noticed is since putting out the content, the amount of messages I'm getting about questions and actually if I can help
Yes.
people, right? So again, like that, pre-sale, or that attraction stage, being an expert at what you know, and actually putting that stuff out there for free to attract people is key to it. Obviously, the second step after that is when you actually get them in the door into some sort of consultation, right?
Yeah.
So, like when people, texting me on Instagram or on email, um, if they're inquiring about my service, the first thing I'm almost going into is, I mean, outside of wanting to either get them on the phone or on Zoom, is conducting a needs analysis. And so, so if you've got step one, which is the pre-sale, and then step two, the needs analysis is pretty much, as the title kind of indicates, it's you need to understand the needs, the problem, the why behind why that client is there.
Yep.
And I can tell
Agreed.
you, there's generally there's the conscious reason. So obviously, your conscious mind is basically, that part of your mind that is active right now, listening to what I'm saying. You've then got your pre-conscious mind, which is like maybe thinking about that meeting that you've got in an hour's time. It's there, but it's not at the front of your mind. So there's your
Yeah.
pre-conscious mind. And then the third part to that is your subconscious mind. Now
Yeah.
that's the part that pretty much is like the autonomous driver that is driving you towards your destination without you even realizing why you're doing it. And
Yeah.
and that's the why that most clients don't understand or are not aware of when they come into you. Some of them might be,
Yeah.
and so that needs analysis. You've got to make sure that you ask questions that evoke some sort of emotional response, that
Yeah.
trigger some sort of pain point. You know, okay, so you're over. For example, Maria, um, you're 10 kilos overweight. Clearly, you're not, but you're 10 kilos overweight. So 25 pounds for people in North America. Um, how long has that been an issue for you? Now you might say, okay, it's been an issue for 3 years. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What stopped you from taking action on that sooner? Or my dog, my dog was ill. My husband didn't want me to do it. Blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. All right, so Maria, let's just say, let's close your eyes. Now let's look three years into the future. If you were to continue down this path, and feel the same way that you feel right now, how would your life actually be 3 years from now if you were to continue down this path?
And
Now, for
nobody
most,
expects you to ask things like this. They're going to be like, whoa. They're, usually in those types of thought provoking questions, you don't usually hear. Not often. Some client, and this is within the training industry, you're asking like a fitness type of scenario at the
mm,
gym, first session free, just let's do some workouts. You like it? Great. Let's sign up. But I think that was the one thing that I learned is taking that time for that consultation, that meeting the person and really getting to like connect with them. It's that emotion thing. I've
mm,
noticed that I've done that without even knowing that I'm doing that. When you're bringing this up as an example, bringing
yeah,
those questions, scenarios, and thoughts has them connected and drawn to you instantly because they're like, I've never thought about it like that. I
yeah.
really have.
And if you conduct a needs analysis efficiently and properly, when it comes to step three, which is providing the solution,
Yeah.
it's almost quite easy to do, and I think the problem is though, when people present kind of their, people will do the needs analysis and then they'll go straight into the price. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you need to provide the solution. So what I mean by that is you actually need to paint out the journey that the client is
Yes.
going to go through over the period of time they need, not want, need to resolve the problem that they had or they have coming in to see you. So, for example,
Yeah.
if we use the other world version of you that's 23, 24 pounds, 10 kilos overweight, right? Now, that type of weight loss is not going to happen in 6 weeks. So, if
No.
my solution to you, Maria, was to provide you with a 6 week program where you train 5 times a week, I mean, I'm going to have to deprive your calories. I'm going to have to literally, like, I don't know, feed you air for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It would be completely
Nobody wants to do
unhealthy.
that.
Exactly. And so, based off what you pick up from the needs analysis, I would, in this example, I'm going to provide you with a 12-week program as a bare minimum, where you train 4 times a week because you're probably lacking motivation because you haven't taken action over the last 3-4 years. And I'm going to paint out every step of that process from, week 1 through to week 12, what that's going to look like for you to help you achieve that goal or that outcome. You know, and then when I've gone through that journey, I'm going to ask you, Maria, like, how would that feel for you? Is that
Yeah.
the type of program that you were after? So I'm getting them to reaffirm that A, they're going to feel amazing doing this, and B, this is exactly what they need. So they're, in essence, they're selling themselves
That they're
based
capable
on the
of doing
journey.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there you go into step four, which is basically, I like to call it like, providing the options. And so the options
Yes.
really for me is, I only present two, generally speaking, and you're always presenting the highest value option. So i.e. the one that they actually need,
Yeah.
right? And then obviously from there it's closing the deal, and potentially after that stage six, overcoming objections. But you can go very deep into the sales process, like we have 10, 12, 13, 14 steps. But I find for fitness professionals, having a 5-step process like that works. I've trained up this process with my staff over the years to sell personal training services, to sell education services. And, like, I mean, I myself, I've done over 10,000 sales consults, and, we've done over, circa $60 million in sales over the last 7-8 years using these methods, to
Yeah.
sell our services as a business. So they work.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to really apply yourself, especially if this is the first time you're doing something or anything at all, just try and do it. You might not be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. I hate that. You're going to learn from your mistakes. Failing is
Yep.
growing. So if you try and you fail the first time, it's not that the process sucked. Maybe there was just something else you needed to do to improve, and just try again the next time you talk to somebody or the next time you try to do something. I think too many times people fear failure. I think one of the greatest things, and I'm really grateful that I learned this early on, I love failing. Failing teaches me so much, not only about myself, but like there's just so much to learn out there, that failing is that door to being like, okay, I know this something I did wasn't good enough. Let me learn how to be better so that I don't need to make
Yeah.
that mistake again.